dear viewers. Welcome to International Business Talk Show Money Talk. As you know, Money Talk has been presenting high commissioners, ministers, bureaucrats and other high-ups in the society for last 7 years. We are celebrating our 7 years anniversary special editions here. The very special guest we have in our program today is none other than the most smiling envoy working in Bangladesh, our friend, our well-wisher, and the Indian High Commissioner, Ms. Veena Sikri. Warm welcome to Money Talk, Ms. Veena Sikri.
Thank you. Great pleasure to be on your program.
Thank you very much. How are you enjoying your stay in Bangladesh?
I am thoroughly enjoying my stay in Bangladesh. I have been here now about 2.5 years, and during this time I have thoroughly enjoyed getting to know the people of Bangladesh. The people of Bangladesh have been very hospitable and very friendly and have always given me a very warm welcome wherever I have been. I have enjoyed traveling throughout Bangladesh. I have enjoyed going from Tetulia to Teknaf. I've been from Mongla Port to Tamabil Dauki, from Akhora Agartala to Vinapol, Petrapol, Mahastangarh, Mainamati, Paharpur, many places in Bangladesh. And I have really enjoyed visiting these places and meeting the people there, students, academicians, chambers of commerce. And in all this, I think what I have enjoyed the most is appreciating and understanding that the people of Bangladesh really want friendship with India. And this has been a great feeling of happiness for me. The people of Bangladesh want to have better relations, they want to strengthen the cooperation with India, and we in India fully reciprocate these feelings.
I believe even most Bangladeshis could not visit their own country like this, the way you did, and the way you said that yes, Bangladesh people of course want to strengthen the friendship with India, as they always remember the great help of our big neighbor India in our great the War of Independence. We of course we recall that and we always value that with a big heart.
Thank you, thank you. I appreciate those feelings very much. We in India also greatly remember the traumatic events of 1971 and the heroism and the strength and the courage of the people of Bangladesh, who essentially fought for their liberation and overcame all kinds of difficulties to achieve this liberation. We remember this very well, and I think that this essence of what India and Bangladesh shared in 1971, this brings out the essence of the shared values between India and Bangladesh.
Yeah.
Our shared value systems, our love for freedom, love for a liberal, democratic, secular, prosperous, stable society. This, I think, is another great factor binding our people together. And this has been one of the very happy feelings that I have when I travel around Bangladesh. So it is very good of you to remember it, and it is indeed a very important factor.
The great dream with Bangladeshi people was there in the War of Independence to become a prosper, to become a self-reliant country, but in last 36 years, we could not achieve those fully or substantially. How India can be helpful in achieving those economic goals for the Bangladeshi people?
Well, I think that India's greatest hope is, and greatest desire, greatest wish is to have a peaceful, a stable and a prosperous neighborhood. So it is in our best interest and in the interest of the people of Bangladesh to have prosperity and to have a common, stable, economic, regional cooperation. Now, in this era of globalization, we have all seen that whether we like it or not, the world is globalized and all of us have to go along with it. To meet the challenges of globalization, each of us, of course, each country has to find its own way of meeting the challenge of globalization, and we have to, otherwise we cannot face the competition. But what we have found and what we feel very strongly about is that the best method of doing this is through regional cooperation. Right. If we work together regionally, we can meet the challenges of globalization, and we can all prosper together.
So in this perspective, High Commissioner Veena Sikri, how SAFTA can play its most effective role, you think?
Well, SAFTA is a very important event and a very important instrument for regional cooperation. An important event because it is perhaps the first concrete outcome of the SAARC process, a very important outcome, and an outcome which we should all value, and we should all work for a realistic and full implementation. We ourselves are very happy with SAFTA. We feel that all our neighbors can benefit from it. In fact, under SAFTA, India has offered some very special concessions to Bangladesh, both for access to the Indian market and for many other purposes that Bangladesh had in mind. So we feel that SAFTA is an important instrument of bringing it together. We would request that all the signatories to SAFTA should indeed be serious about implementing it. So yes, I agree with you that SAFTA can do a lot.
India has now become a global power, superpower in IT or ICT nowadays, the Infosys, iPro, and other big corporates in India. What Bangladesh can do best to catch up with Indian success in IT or ICT sectors?
I think one of the most important aspects in the area of ICT, information and communication technologies, is human resource development. I think this was the great strength of India when the software revolution came into the world, that India had the requisite manpower developed base, the human resource development base was available. People who were proficient in mathematics, in engineering, of course English speaking. So these aspects of human resource development are very important, and we have offered and we are prepared to work with Bangladesh in this area of human resource development so that Bangladesh can also come up to the same level, and India and Bangladesh can work together in the area of software development, in the area of business process outsourcing, BPOs, and in the area of communication technology. So we have offered, for example, a very good program to Bangladesh called Train the Trainers, which is in fact being run in India by Tata Infotech. And they are prepared to train teachers in information technology, Bangladesh teachers. They go to India and then they come back and train others in Bangladesh to develop that same technology. We are training more than 600 people under this program this year. Last year we trained about 250. So we feel that this focus on human resource technology would be a very good way of Bangladesh coming up to a level where Bangladesh and India can cooperate together in meeting the challenges of the rest of the world. So this is one area of human resource development. The other area is the communication technology. And this area of optical fiber cable, of being connected between India and Bangladesh, this is a very important one. But there's still some small lack in this. For example, if you know, the telephone charges between India and Bangladesh are about the highest in the world. The highest that Bangladesh charges perhaps for any country. It's much cheaper to call from Bangladesh to
any other country,
New York or London, except to India. And I understand that one of the reasons for this is that the cable, the optical cables between Bangladesh and India, there is a small gap where they're not complete. We would like very much to overcome these kind of problems and have a full connectivity between Bangladesh and India.
Experts say, High Commissioner Veena Sikri, that the 7 sister states India has could be a bigger market for Bangladeshi manufacturers to go to India to export their products and earn a huge amount of foreign exchange. How are you seeing into this thing?
We are very happy to promote Bangladesh exports to all parts of India. In fact, you know, there is a lot of focus on the adverse trade balance between India and Bangladesh. And yes, it is an adverse trade balance, but it is not Bangladesh's largest adverse trade balance. I think now you have a larger adverse trade balance with China. But anyway, as far as the adverse trade balance is concerned, I have always said that I consider it as a part of my duties in Bangladesh to strengthen Bangladesh exports to India. And I must say that I'm very happy to report that in the last 3 years, Bangladesh exports to India have trebled, almost quadrupled. In 2001-2002, the year before I came here, Bangladesh exports to India were about $50 million, very small. But in the financial year which just ended in June 2006, Bangladesh exports to India have crossed $200 million.
Yeah, that's
Now,
quite
this is
substantial.
a substantial increase. Of course, it is a long way to go,
Yeah,
but
of course.
it shows that the doors are wide open. And certainly, as far as exports of Bangladesh to India are concerned, all of India, the doors are wide open. So, as far as the northeastern states are concerned, West Bengal, Bombay, Karnataka, Mumbai, Kolkata, everywhere it is wide open. So we have absolutely no problem. I think that what needs to be done is a very active dialogue between India and Bangladesh to solve any problems that may appear to be there. Sometimes they are substantive problems. Now, for example, I can tell you that in the last 2 years, we have had this Bangladesh-India joint working group on trade, and we have tried to encourage frequent meetings. Now, in the earlier meetings which were there soon after I came, a lot of complaints were there about cement exports from Bangladesh to India, about lead acid batteries exports from Bangladesh to India.
Yeah.
Now, these are some of the problems that we have overcome. Cement exports are now going. And how we overcome? Because the problem was that Indian sale of items like cement in India require a certification of standards, which is under the Bureau of Indian Standards. There has to be a stamp to certify the quality. And there was a problem because naturally the cement is manufactured in Bangladesh, so how do they get it? But we overcame the problem by allowing and giving a special concession to have individual inspection of factories in Bangladesh by our Bureau of Standards people, and they would certify. They have certified certain factories, and so the exports are taking place. So solutions can always be found, and we have tried to do that to overcome the problems.
Bangladesh has been having a kind of border problem with India for years together. Sometimes it becomes so uneasy for both countries, I believe. How Bangladesh and India can resolve these border issues very quickly, and what could be the modality?
Well, you know, the border issues between Bangladesh and India, this is something again which needs a very active dialogue. Now, if I go back to the 1974 Indira Mujib Accord, which was a very important agreement, and certainly we have always worked towards the implementation of the accord. In Bangladesh, I often hear that India has not ratified this accord, whereas Bangladesh has done so. Now, if I may say, this position is not entirely correct, because while Bangladesh has ratified the accord, but that ratification cannot come into force because there are still undemarcated portions of the border, some 6.5 kilometers, which is a very, very small amount. And until that demarcation is complete, the ratification that Bangladesh has done cannot come into effect because you need a notification of the border. In India, our constitutional procedure for ratification of any accord requires that first the demarcation has to be complete and it has to be notified, and then the process of ratification can start. So what we have done to overcome this problem, we have proposed to the government of Bangladesh, we proposed it about 4 years ago, that we proposed a solution for this remaining 6.5 kilometers, which is in 3 different patches. One is in West Bengal, one is in Assam, and the other is in Tripura. We have proposed actually a solution, and we are awaiting a response from the Bangladesh government. After 4 years, we had a joint boundary working group meeting very recently in Dhaka. Our team had come from India, and we again requested for a response. We haven't received a response yet. Whenever we do, we feel that this problem can be solved. But in the meanwhile, what we have agreed to is joint visits to the enclaves, joint visits to the adverse possession.
The active dialogue.
Yes, active dialogue, active, you know, meetings
Participation
and
to each
visits,
other.
so that there is no misunderstanding. And I think that similarly, any disagreement at the borders should be immediately resolved by a dialogue between the BSF and BDR. Now, another dialogue which we revived after about 4 years was between the home secretaries of our 2 countries. And we have now had 2 meetings of the home secretaries, one in Dhaka, one in Delhi. You see, the issue is not that there is a problem. Problems will happen because we have a very long border, 4,000 kilometers, very porous border. The issue is always to have a very active mechanism to solve any problems as they arise, to diffuse any tension, any problems, and carry on as good friends. That is very important.
How do you feel that how Bangladeshi and Indian people could do in a common level, in a common minimum level, to prosper very quickly?
Well, you know, I spoke about the issue of connectivity in the terms of fiber optic cables, but I think generally the issue of connectivity is very important between India and Bangladesh. Now, we are about the closest neighbors. India's largest land border is with Bangladesh, larger than China, larger than Pakistan. So we naturally feel that we should have a very close and friendly and strong relation for economic cooperation with Bangladesh. But the connectivity between India and Bangladesh is very inadequate. Now, here this connectivity is really the problem. Sometimes in our trade, we say, oh, there is a non-tariff barrier, there is a para-tariff barrier. Actually, much of it is poor connectivity. Much of our trade comes through Benapole-Petrapole, about 60% of our trade, bilateral trade, both ways. Now, that is a tremendous overloading of one point, Benapole-Petrapole. No amount of administrative reforms can bring that, can overcome that physical overloading of Benapole-Petrapole. So we have proposed that to decentralize the trade, we should use much more our rail connectivity. We should modernize the rail connectivity between Bangladesh and India.
Jashore to Calcutta?
Jashore to Calcutta, Dhaka, Sialdah, Joydevpur. You know, 5 years ago, the government of Bangladesh had agreed to a train service between Sialdah near Calcutta and Joydevpur near Dhaka.
But Jashore-Kolkata railway was about to be started, and I believe some kind of operation is there.
Well, they have a train, the railway comes up to Darshanagiri, but then again the trains are not allowed to come in. They come in, they offload, and then they go back, and it's a very confusing and difficult procedure. Then, for example, I have stressed that we should develop the water linkages between Bangladesh and India. We both have a very active inland waterway network.
Yes, we do.
And we should develop linkages between Mongla Port and Haldia Port. They are so near to each other. And the small ships that Mongla Port can receive are ideally suited to come from Haldia to Mongla on a daily basis. Today, you will be surprised to know that sometimes ships from Haldia to Chittagong are coming via Singapore.
Oh, that's unbelievable.
It's unbelievable. A container traveling from Haldia to Chittagong via Singapore takes $2,500, costs $2,500 and takes 15 days. If it comes on the inland waterway network via Haldia, via Mongla Port, or the inland waterway network,
the carrying cost is deducted, the time is saved, and everything is there.
The cost comes down to $500 and 5 days.
What is the impediment?
Well, for one thing, I have proposed, we have proposed to the government of Bangladesh the containerization of our bilateral trade. You know, Bangladesh has containerized trade with all countries of the world except with India.
What is the problem in the containerize our trade agreement?
We would like to do that.
What best you can do to solve this?
Well, I have made these proposals, and we like to, for example, a container can come on barges, a container can come on ships, a container can come by truck, by train. There's so many ways. Then at the border, there would be no need for inspection or opening up. You know, you can have a truck scanner, a container scanner, a container.
The modern equipments can do it.
Yes, you can have a container sealed on the Indian side, maybe near Kolkata at Koshipur we have a container depot. It can come to the inland container depot in Bangladesh, be opened there. So all the paraphernalia at the border would become completely unnecessary. So all the mismanagement, inefficiencies, corruptions would all go away. And a lot of the informal trade that is taking place today would become formal. It would benefit the Bangladesh government, you would get much more revenue. So I think these are very active ways in which Bangladesh and India can improve their connectivity. So you spoke about goods going from Bangladesh to northeastern states. Now, I visited Akhora Agartala. Do you know the infrastructure at Akhora Agartala is so minimal, there is nothing there. The Commissioner of Customs of Bangladesh sits in Chittagong. The Joint Commissioner of Customs sits in Comilla. The Superintendent of Customs of Bangladesh sits in Brahmanbaria. In Akhora, for goods going from Bangladesh to northeast, there's only an inspector and he's not always there. There is no banking facility there.
Awful.
There is nothing there, table and share. So, you know, there are real infrastructural impediments to improving Bangladesh exports to the northeast. The road from Bhamanbaria to Akhora, I have traveled on that road. I mean, it is amazing. It is one of the most terrible roads I have traveled on. Whereas in other parts of Bangladesh, the roads are very modern, very good. I've traveled on so many excellent roads in Bangladesh. But this particular stretch from Bhamanbaria to Akhora is a terrible stretch. Anybody can go and see it.
I think Bangladesh people always value India as their biggest neighbor and good friend. No doubt about it, I believe, in the common general people. As a involved High Commissioner, envoy of India in Bangladesh, how best you can think to develop the people's aspiration in the electoral process of this country? How Bangladesh people can get the best benefit of an election? Especially the next general election is coming up right now.
Well, yes, I can see there's a lot of intense interest and excitement in Bangladesh in the contest of the next election. And I think this debate, this excitement is good because it shows that Bangladesh is a vibrant democracy. And the people of Bangladesh value their democracy, they value their vote. That's why it is such an important issue. Now, when we look at this context of democracy, I think there are two aspects we have to remember. One is your liberation struggle, India's independence movement. The people, the freedom fighters of India, the freedom fighters of Bangladesh, they fought, the fathers of our nation, they fought, they gave their lives for democracy in India, our freedom fighters, and democracy in Bangladesh. So the democracy we take for granted today is actually, we have to remember the people who gave their lives for it. Secondly, democracy is an institution, is a form of government that requires constant effort to preserve democracy, to strengthen the institutions of democracy. And this is a constant dialogue with the people. And it's the people, because a democracy is a people's form of government. So if the people are excited, interested, then it is very important to respond to that and to see the ways in which the process of democracy, the institutions of democracy can be strengthened. I can give you our own example in India. This has been an ongoing effort, and with every election there's a very active debate. With every election, the institution of the election commission becomes stronger, becomes independent, because the people of Bangladesh, the people of India, they want it that way. It is in response to the demand of the people of India that our election commission is today so strong and so independent.
They're so independent they are.
Yes, and playing a very active role in the election process, in ensuring a free and fair election. So that is why, seeing how in India this has happened, I can fully appreciate and understand that these issues are of great concern to the people of Bangladesh, and they are putting their best into a very active debate on it. I think debate on such issues really transcends politics. It is not a political debate. It's not a political debate for one party or the other or the third party. It is a debate for democracy in Bangladesh, which is a very important debate, and I certainly wish all the best, and I wish a very free and fair election in Bangladesh, and certainly if there's a free and fair election, we in India will respect the outcome of that election and are prepared to work with any government which the people of Bangladesh elect to power.
A lot of people want to go to India every day, and they're going actually for medical tourism, for seeing their relations and all this. But the visa thing, I think there some development is needed.
Well, I must tell you that in the visas, first of all, we, Bangladesh and India, we signed a revised travel arrangement about 5 years ago in 2001. In fact, it has now come up for review. And this revised travel arrangement gave the framework within which we both governments agreed in 2001 to have a very liberal exchange of peoples, because people-to-people interaction is the most important form of developing relations between countries. It's the first level, it's the most important level.
The connectivity between people.
The people's connectivity must be there, because if the people of our two countries know each other, understand each other and appreciate each other, then certainly there is great hope and great prospects for Bangladesh-India relations. So in keeping with the 2001 agreement, we in the High Commission of India followed a very liberal visa policy, and now we are issuing something like 5 lakh visas every year. This
That's
is
a massive,
huge amount.
huge,
and we
yeah.
issue it through Dhaka and through the Assistant High Commissioner's office in Rajshahi and in Chittagong. Now this is a very huge exercise. It means that every working day we are issuing something like 1,500 visas a
But
day.
is it correct, High Commissioner Sikri, that India-Bangladesh visa has a special kind of form? It's not the same form you have got, India has got with other countries?
No, it is the same form. What we did agree upon in 2001, that there could be a special India-Bangladesh passport. That means there could be a document just for travel between India and Bangladesh. But this is only for a small number of people, you know. And the majority of people traveling between India and Bangladesh are using the regular international passports of India and Bangladesh. And now there's even a review of whether this India-Bangladesh passport should be continued or not.
Yeah, now the thing is being reviewed. Right?
So now we are looking at the international passport
document.
Now, because the demand was so much, we did feel the pressure, and we decided that we must modernize the system of issuing visas. So for the last 2 years, we have been encouraging a complete computerization of the visa issuing process.
That's a great
India.
development, yeah.
That has been a great development in the High Commission of India in Dhaka and Chittagong and Rajshahi. The second, what we have done is that we have outsourced the process. The State Bank of India has taken on the process of data entry. So they have taken a building in Gulshan, 5 stories, fully air conditioned. It is now very comfortable. This has been working since December 2005. And I must say that in the last 7 to 8 months, the process of visa issuing has been considerably streamlined. In fact, that whole process of queuing is now almost finished, because people come in the morning, they can go to any of the 5 floors. There is a separate floor for ladies. They are escorted to that floor.
Very comfortably done.
There is very comfortable. And the visas are processed, and they are asked to come and, in fact, collect their visas. Now we are even going further, because sometimes some people still try to misuse the process. We encourage people to come on their own or send their authorized people to apply for the visa and collect the visa. We are discouraging completely any kinds of agents, or sometimes, you know, some highly undesirable touts come into the process, which we are completely discouraging. And we would even like to go on to online application of visas. To further streamline the process, we are now going into the process of computerization, and we hope within a few months to have online application of visas, so that all the business people who are going to India in large numbers, and we want to develop the business interaction, so more and more business people will be going to India. So we would like to have an online application, and we would like them not even to come to the High Commission, just apply online, give the details, give the documents required, and you'll be told when to come and collect your visa. So we are, in fact, continuously
developing
upgrading and modernizing. We want to introduce more and more security features, so that there is a smaller and smaller chance of misuse of fake visas. Sometimes we are facing all these problems. We see all that. So we are trying by every means to make the process comfortable, transparent, and hassle-free. That's what we are working for.
High Commissioner Veena Sikri, thank you so much for being with us in this program today.
Thank you. It has been a great pleasure to be on your program.